Hang on one sec. We're coming in hot. All right, everybody, away we go. Welcome to today's call. It is Friday, May, believe it or not, 29th. Crazy. Time flies when you're having fun here at the TRC. It is our TRC sales training call day. Away we go. Oops, hang on. That guy's redundant. It is Friday, hang on. May, believe it or not, 29th. Crazy. Time flies when you're having fun here at the TRC. It is our TRC sales training call day. Oops, hang on. That guy's redundant. Friday. How do we stop him? Let me just double check this. Too many pieces. Somebody, Paul, your mic's open. Can you still hear me after I just muted that?
I can hear you just fine, Danny.
Nope, I can't hear you. So hang on one second. Let me just double check this. Too many pieces. Somebody, Paul, your mic's open. Can you still? Okay. I'm going to rock and roll this anyway. Trying to broadcast through Zoom to YouTube, just so any of you techophiles, is that what you called? I forget what it's called when you're into tech. I'm just trying to leverage tech. I had to stop that. But anyway, let's roll here. Paul, how about now? Give me a test on sound.
Check, check.
There you go, buddy. All right, we're good. So much technology, so little time. All right, so I have a couple of people saying hello on chat. Let me just double check. Terry Jordan is your guest. She's your new telemarketer. Terry Jordan, welcome. She starts on Monday. We love it. Would be awesome to do some role play. Also sent you 4 of Sam's calls. All right, so Paul's in hot as usual, taking advantage of the call. So Paul, I will start with you. Any of you that have calls for me to review, or you have something that you want to go over with me, you can send that to me now and I will deal with it. Okay. So let me get in there and take a look. Paul, you sent it to the email, right? Danny boy?
I always send them to both Danny. Yeah, Danny Boy and then Danny Griffin. Danny at DannyGriffin.com. So I always send them to both.
All righty.
9:45 this morning is the timestamp.
Oh, how about?
Oh, now we can hear you.
Sorry, Paul. All right. Struggling here. All right. Paul, context. What do we have here?
We have 4 calls. She got out 2 packages Tuesday night, 1 package Wednesday, 1 package Thursday. I think the Tuesday one was the only one where she didn't take the second beat.
Okay.
The other one, she took the second beat. I think last night's call, she actually tried to go for the third beat, which was the appointment, but she didn't get it.
Okay.
But she's definitely getting better. But you're still going to get frustrated because she's still doing the word whiskers, the how are you? I'm fine, thanks. And we're 16, 19 seconds into the call before she gets to the damn point of why she's calling.
Okay.
I just can't get it out of her. And Danny,
Yeah.
it's a weird time here. I think that because everybody's at home, everybody's being nicer and they actually want to be asked how they are and just talk a little more. Maybe that's just me, but listen to the calls and tell me what you think about that theory.
Well, look, I'm not going to beat it up because it's effective. So that we're sort of dancing on the head of a pin here, trying to make it perfect based on our opinion. I mean, I think the caution is when we're doing these to tell everybody across the country that not everybody across the country by state is nice, right?
Well, I told her if she tried that on the East Coast, she'd get smacked down.
Yeah, right.
And she started laughing. She said, I know, I've been there. So,
but if she's getting away with it, then I don't want to overdo it. I would much rather say, let's try to get to the second beat where she qualifies why they're doing something. I can't believe how often this is coming up, that people really aren't taking that beat to find out why somebody does something. Right. So I'm more concerned about that not happening because I think what's happening is bloated database syndrome follows the success on any kind of lead conversion. So I'm more concerned about that, Paul. So I think if I'm going to win a battle with her, it's going to be let's get to the second beat. So what you're telling me is that some of this stuff that's been covered. Is that right?
3 out of 4.
Okay, good. Well, let's hit it and let's see what that sounds like.
Hello.
Hello, this is Doug.
Oh, hi there, Doug. This is Sam from Cantu Group Real Estate. How are you today?
Sorry, from where?
From Cantu Group Real Estate.
Oh, okay. Hi.
Yeah, just you're lucky they're nice. That's 18 seconds worth of an intro.
I know.
Right?
I know. I
I mean-
listen to them all, Danny. I know.
Yeah. And so it's like, do you think she's nervous? Has she ever said to you why she's having difficulty dropping all that?
No, she actually laughs when we talk about it. She's like, it's just such a habit from, I mean, because she's worked for other agents across the country for years, probably
Yeah.
4 years now.
Yeah.
And that's just how she was trained. And it's like, after God knows, tens and tens and tens upon tens of thousands of calls, it's just like locked into her brain, and she
I got
can't
it.
drop
No,
it.
I got it. I was listening to trying to make some comparison to what I do for a living here as a coach trainer. This is really that repetition part of this. I was listening to a great MMA fighter and his trainer, and they were talking about what you do in moments like this is you're really training the brain to have certain movements so that in the thick of the fight, they're just there. And here's the worst part, untraining stuff that's bad habit, right? Because really what that is, if somebody taught her to say that, it's poor scripting, because that's not what's about, and there's nothing in it for them. And we're 18 seconds in.
Yeah.
So, again, if she continues to give you stuff that shows it's effective, it's hard to lean in on it. But even though like you can dismiss it in that way, what you end up doing is you end up saying, yes, but does it cost her somewhere else in the call? Because now it's gone on too long and it's not concise. And you hear Autumn talk about this every week about concision, less is more. And we're moving through people to phone appointments and listings, I think because of concision. So again, we'll have to listen to these all the way through and we'll see where we land. So think about that, like not bad because she gets there. So it's hard to critique it, but it's 18 seconds of first there's a delay. She doesn't even hear him say hello. Right.
Well,
I don't know.
That's a stupid dialer. Yeah.
I know, which bugs me. And I bring it up again because we're going to have that delay. Now we have a delay where it's sort of like what he's doing here is he's trying to make sense of who this is and why they're interrupting. And that's because she doesn't let him know immediately.
100%
So,
agree.
right. So, all right, let's keep going.
Yes, we were just giving you a call because we saw your beautiful home online and we noticed it didn't sell. So we wanted to send you something that will help you sell it the next time. May I do that?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. May I confirm the best mailing address? I have here it's 6336 East Place in Southeast Bellevue.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Well, we'll send that over and we'll give you a call in a week just to make sure that you received it, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a weirder one though, because that's not a conflict with the past. She has such positivity in this situation. It's such an easy question than the next one. I mean, that's more, like I said, that's more bothersome to me that after all that, she just doesn't ask him.
So with the new telemarketer that starts Monday, Taryn, I probably wrote Terry by accident, it's Taryn. We listened to them and I asked her which ones, let's just rate them from best to worst out of the 4. And that one definitely is 4th on the list in term, but she still got the package out. And
But again, we can't, you're way beyond being able to say, because you're too good. Beyond all the same, she got the package out. She might have caused you a bloated database problem because you don't know why this guy was doing it in the first place. So you don't know whether it's a good package. You can't rate the package. So now there's a follow-up and she's not good at those follow-up calls.
No,
so
those follow-ups are all falling on me now. I mean, I'm doing
I know. And that's a problem for me. So she has to do it better because your time, like I keep saying to you, time is way too valuable to be locked down on just these calls. And that's why we have Taryn, which is great. But Taryn, if you're listening to this, which you are, you have to hear me say this, that this is a problem here. As good as the result sounds like it is to most, to me, it's not. It's actually causing him a conversion issue with this bloat of now he has to go start all over again. However, having said that, Paul, at least when the package gets there, the relationship is indeed changed. And we do know that. Right. So we're fully cognizant that you're in a better spot. It's just bothersome that it's just, it's right there for the taking. where are you hurrying
You're
to?
going to get way more frustrated on the next calls then.
Well, it's not frustrated, with her. It's frustrated for you, knowing that, it's an issue, right? So I think that's what I'm concerned about, right? Is that this is really working well. And by the way, this is not just expireds. If you're listening to this, this is every single context. There's a service beat first. Hey, here's what I know about you, or here's how we know you, and here's what I have for you. Okay. And so that's a service beat. You wrap it up with a clean bow so they know you are firmly in it for them. And then the next beat is, why are you doing this? I know everybody's been taught to like ask this when. Okay, when will come out more naturally if you find out the why. If the why is a big reason, the hint is, ooh, this might be soon. Then you can ask, gee, that's a pretty big reason. You think you're going to do it soon? Right. So we have to start using our logical brain and stop walking like stiff-armed in a trance through a conversation and be more engaged. Okay. I want everybody to hear me say that, because the result is 10x better in the long run, because you're building a better next step. So most people, on this call say, what do I say the next time? Duh, think. I sent you a package, or we did this thing the last time. Here's the update, or here I am again, taking you to the next level. There's no big thinking to this, right? And especially once you create a prospect and we get them some properties that are coming to them on a regular basis, now we can then subsequently follow up with them and talk about property specifics. Hey, did you see this one? I think this means this for you, or this is a great opportunity. Would you like me to preview it? All those follow-up calls become much more logical. It's not, are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? That's not the way the digital world allows us to behave anymore. The digital world says you must make a service beat as to clearly how you are in that service relationship with them. Then you must qualify that there's a real why they're going to do this at all inside the next 12 months. The key to prospecting, so that you build a good book of prospects that are constantly turning over to clients every month, is to realize, do they really have a reason to move inside the next 12 months? And if you can squeeze 12 down, even better. But I'm trying to put a hard limit on it, everybody's brain, so you stop believing that way down the line, there's this magical business. There may be for those of you that are super hyper organized in your database, but most of you need to squeeze it down. And if you're an agent listening to this call, you need to squeeze it down to the next 90 days to 6 months. Keep it in there, because you may not have any of the capacity for much longer term follow-up than that. And there are plenty of people, who want to do something that soon. I meet them all the time at open houses, direct showings. They're out there. They're not being guided. So this concept of prospecting becomes critical. And that's why I harp on it every week on this call. This is a mistake now. What she's doing here, it's a mistake to rush off the phone. It's like, I did the job. I got the package out. I want my check. Not good enough. It's actually now there's too many of these calls where I'm going to call this, in her case, a failure. It's a failure. It's not good. Okay. Because now he has to go pick up the ball, and he has to go in there and hope that the package has its effect. And he starts all over again for qualification, where he didn't have to. She was there. So I would tell you this, everybody that's looking to hire a telemarketer, or Taryn who's listening to this, the compensation has to be tied to the ultimate outcome, which is a sale. If it's not, this is way too transactional sounding. It's good in its effectiveness of that transactional piece, but it is not good as far as the end result. Make sense, everybody? Anybody have a question about that? There's a very seriousness of purpose to what I'm saying here that ties into the entirety of the sales process. Do I have any questions? Because now's a good time. Paul, you can ask a question. Taryn, you can ask a question. Anybody about what I just said.
I can't, Dan. I have to mute my mic. There's a lot of background noise right now.
Okay. All right. Taryn, how about you? Thoughts about that as you begin to get ready to do this?
Hi, sorry, I was like having trouble turning on my mic. So I guess in the question, or my question for this would be, in the call that she just did, since she didn't try to get the second beat,
Yes.
even though the person she was calling was being really receptive to the conversation, and you did mark it as a fail, trying to get into that second beat, I guess, does she know about like how to move in, and how would you train into making sure everybody knows how to move into that second beat to be able to at
Well, it's
least gain
great.
that?
Taryn, it's a super question. She knows. She
Uh-huh.
knows. Her calls are being played here almost every week because Paul's that diligent in his pursuit of the answers. He
Mhm.
has told her this, but I know Paul. He maybe being a little bit too nice to her because at this point in time, this needs to evolve or it becomes problematic, right?
Mhm.
Because over time, if these packages keep going out,
Mhm.
but there's been no qualification further. Remember, the idea of serving somebody first allows you to get what you want. Too many people pick up the phone and they start asking for what they want too quickly. That's the problem, right? They just, gee, when are you going to hire the right realtor? Or, are you still going to sell it? I have a buyer for this, and all the nonsense that people say without taking care of the human first, right? Hey, I saw that this happened to you. I have this stuff for you. I want to send it. It's what to do. And it's some pictures and details of properties that sold while you were on the marketplace. It's really helpful, whether you're going to use me or not. That's a service speed. And so the answer to your question is then it becomes a very logical opportunity because you've had the law of reciprocity kick in at that moment. So there's nothing else to quote unquote train on. It's more so to, as the saying goes these days, to get woke in that moment to recognize what's just taken place. An exchange of value. May I send this to you? Yes, you may. That's the law of reciprocity clicking in. So in the predictably irrational world that we live in, we know that we react emotionally. So once the law of reciprocity has been enacted, okay, the natural thing is that you're able to get something in return. And the gift is what? That they will answer your next question. Hey, looks like a great house. Why are we trying to sell it in the first place? Because Taryn, that's why you wanted to call in the first place, to see if there's a real reason and can Paul get over there. See how simple it is? So if you just get woke about the fact that we're giving, and that's called magnetic marketing in some ways, and we're trying to magnetize this person in through that gift, and the gift is genuine. It's not a bait and switch. This is a real genuine gift. This is different from other marketing programs that I grew up on and learned. This is a real gift. This is 7 steps on how to go through the process of selling your house. And then there's the pictures and details of properties that sold when they weren't on. And let's presume it's an internet lead that they want the home evaluation. It's a great starter package. It needs a lot more insight before they list. So it doesn't matter what lead source it is on the sell side. It's always going to be core and fundamental to this is what to do with or without me. Does that make sense? So if I give that to you, or I offer to send it to you, then it's almost like that law of reciprocity earns me the right to be able to ask a question, and that most people won't fight giving you the answer because you've just offered something. They've said yes. There's been an exchange already versus other scripting where there's no exchange of value. People rush through the door and they're trying to take, right? So that's an issue. So we give, bundle it up, say wonderful. And you can hear her do this perfectly. I mean, it's perfect, but it's like saying, oh, okay, you played a perfect half of that football game, and then you never came out in the field for the second half. So the other team just kept running up and down the field, scoring touchdowns. You lost by a mile. So you can't just applaud a really, really good first half of any event. Hey, that play was wonderful in Act 1. I can't wait to go back. Oh, sorry, the actors aren't coming back out. That's the drama of the moment. Is it just, it falls off the cliff, incomplete. It's a disaster actually for the future, because now there has to be a restarting of the effort. I'm being dramatic to emphasize the point. It's not a complete disaster, but now the guy who's supposed to be running the business and reserving himself to go out and tip these people to a listing now has to take his time and go in there and start this pre-qualification all over. And he can't segment the database. He can't segment it by, wow, these people were good to go. And she misses here. I'll show you where it really is a problem. What if she asks, well, why are you trying to sell it? Well, I got to get out of here. I got a new job and it starts next month and I get out of here. Now she misses that. So now this gets buried in a database. It gets queued up with the rest of the stuff. There's no way to distinguish it from the rest of the stuff. Now the package goes out via snail mail. Now it gets there. Paul calls after he kicks the can down the road another week because he's too busy. And all of a sudden the listing is lost. And a $24,000 event goes flying out the door. That's a real thing that almost happened to him last week because there was no mechanism to identify urgency. Whereas in my office, Autumn today has booked another urgent phone message, right? Like she finds that there are people, they want to talk to me now. She books a phone appointment now because she goes clearly to the second beat. 100%.
She called me.
Yeah, right. Well, Autumn, you react to this because this is how you and I both feel. Like we are 100% trying to pluck from this batch who has the biggest reason right now. And those that do, we don't even wait to get in the house anymore. We're doing phone appointments, then house, then listing. So we've even stepped up another layer, right?
Yep.
So Taryn, the key for you is the training is just stick to the formulaic approach, but get woke at what's at play underneath that's more powerful than any of us. And that's the law of reciprocity. Does that make sense? How that's underneath, that's bridging one side to the second beat. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. And you'll hear it, Taryn. You know what I mean? You'll hear it clicking. You can hear it with him. It clicks. He's like, sure. And he's sitting there like an open book. And she says, okay, close the book. See you next week. I'll pass it off to Paul. And I know why. Autumn and I are only really getting paid when it closes. So she's not attached to that outcome. You can hear it in her approach. All right, Paulie, anything to add there or anybody else? Taryn, good question though. Really good question. Take the pressure off of a heavy training moment and just recognize that and then just go at it, right? I mean, Paul's asking me to role play with you. You know what I'd rather you do? Pick up the phone and record one and let me break it down with you because I'm not a real buyer. I don't have that, I'm not going to, no role play is ever going to be able to simulate the real feeling that person is having on the other side, the real reason. I can make it up, but I just say, go back and listen to a whole bunch of these recorded calls because you hear real calls. You hear real reactions. That makes sense?
Absolutely.
Cool. So get me some recordings and I'd be happy to break them down with real reaction. All right, Paul, I'll go to another one. We'll bang that out and then we can come back around if we have time for all four. Let me listen.
Hello. Hi, is this Oliver?
Yeah, this is he.
Hi there, this is Sam from Cantu Group Real Estate. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good, Sam. How are you?
I'm great, thanks for asking. So actually we're just giving you a call because we saw your beautiful home online and we noticed it didn't sell. So we wanted to send you something that will help you sell it the next time. May I do that?
Oh, yeah, please.
Okay, perfect. May I confirm the best address? Is it 9710 5?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, perfect. And actually, it looks like a great property. Why were you trying to sell it?
Oh, because it's a rental property. We're renting it out, and I think just that we got exhausted of renting it, and we just kind of want to be done with it.
Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, awesome. So we'll send that over, and I'll give you a call in a week just to make sure that you received it, okay?
Okay, great. Thank you, Sam.
I have
Thank you. Bye.
Go ahead,
All right,
Autumn.
take care.
Autumn,
Bye.
fire away. Go ahead.
I have one question.
Go.
Why is she asking, may I confirm your address? Why not just say is the correct address to send this to blah, blah, blah? She's
No.
giving another space for him to have to answer a question or hang up.
Yeah, I agree. And I think she just gets away with it because where they are is forgiving, right? I agree. I think all these little subtleties, and I think at this point in time, for Paul's edification, now Taryn, who's coming in to sit in this seat, I think these are all very, very relevant things that there's no doubt are problems with quality, or could be. So now, but you see the big difference, Taryn, in that one? Because I'll speak to you. In this one, it just was so easy to get an answer. And this guy has had it. You hear it in his voice? He's done, right? But you can just feel her going through the motions. This is
Right.
very non-conversational. She's just going through the motions. And when she gets the answers, check, check, next, check. This is what transactional sounds like, albeit it's decent. Okay. Albeit it's decent, it's extremely transactional. And we are in the relationship business, and our standard needs to keep going higher and higher and higher. You need to make a human connection. These are the scripted beats that we need to hit because we're trying to be, helpful to these people and effective, and we need to be in control of that. Okay. There's no doubt about it. But if she goes through these motions like this, like now it's the burden's all on Paul to go create the relationship because it's not here. And he wants one. You can hear his tone. He wants one. He's appreciative. Nobody has said anything like this to him. You can just tell by the way he's reacting, which is our experience too on the East Coast, where it's not so nice, right? But yet
Right.
what Autumn's finding is that as we call people, north of the median price, there's an appreciation for the offer. There's an appreciation for the strategic approach. So as we go up and we say it quickly, concisely, and professionally, it is more welcomed. So we get less rejection. So see, it's more of an intelligent approach than this transactional thing that, that's what the dialer was all invented for. Transactional. I'm speeding through people trying to skim the cream. Whereas what I've discovered over time is I actually think in big ticket item sales, the dialer could be hazardous because what it just insinuates is that you have been lazy in your list building and your targeted marketing, so that you're not really giving any thought to anything other than this massive batch of contacts, and you're beating on it. I call those subscribers or users. If you can make a good offer to them, get them playing on a platform a la Facebook, and then possibly begin to match up those offers to the subset of those users and subscribers, then you attract them, then you talk to them. That's what nobody wants to talk about. Everybody wants you to plow headlong into this huge batch of names. And just this is why poor Sam has been brainwashed to be transactional. And she has a beautiful, sweet, engaging voice, but yet she can't use it to engage. See that,
Okay.
Taryn? And Taryn, these to me, like I might sound like I'm really obsessed, with this because I've been doing it for so long, but I am not guessing about its effectiveness. Now, Autumn, how many years? 35 plus as a telemarketer, right?
Yeah, easy.
Okay, so 35 plus as a telemarketer, but she didn't know the first thing about real estate. So she was able to use this understanding that I'm expressing here, learn the real estate part, and become very effective quickly, right? In fact, when this is done correctly, and she does that quite a bit, I'll give you an example in Autumn. You can expand upon this right now as a test case. We sent a package out to somebody that she spoke with, and she made a good enough connection that when the package went, there was a better feeling for its value. And then the call came inbound, and this is not the first one. She gets a lot of these. So instead of having to now pass it to me, and I got to remember when I'm supposed to make my calls, and then I got to go get it, she has an inbound call today or yesterday, whenever, and she books me a phone appointment for whatever reasons the lady wants to talk to me on the phone, and we have said go for those. Don't let this gap happen. Every time we can stitch a connection stitch into the relationship, don't wait. If it's phone, if it's Zoom, if it's me going in the house and they're not here and to preview it. So Autumn, you want to talk to that a little bit? Exactly. Let's use the case study. Tell Taryn a little bit about that case study. How does this happen?
Well, what happened was I spoke with her, I don't know, maybe 5 days ago. I'm not looking at her info right now. So I'll say about 5-6 days ago. And she allowed me to send a package to her. And just for all of you old timers, I'll let you know that she raved about the package to me this morning. But anyway, so I spoke with her about 5 days ago, got the package sent to her, and then gave her a call yesterday and left her a message and said I was touching base to see if the package arrived. Give me a call back on my cell. I'm at home, clearly, blah, blah, blah. And this morning she called me back And I said, hi, Ann. And she hung up. And I thought, oh, well, whatever. Maybe she's a jerk, you know, didn't call back, nothing. 5 seconds later, called me back, sweet as pie, said, what, you know, returning your call. I said, yes. I said, Danny and I were talking about your house. He'd like me to ask you if he could have a phone conversation with you about it. And can we set that up? And we set it up. And the whole conversation this morning was probably 15, 20 minutes. I mean, we were talking. She said that package was so beautiful and so informative. She was highly impressed. I don't know if I've ever gotten quite as strong of a rave review as the one I got. And I've gotten a lot of them.
Mhm.
And by the way,
So-
it's not the best copywriting in the world. It's just straightforward content that is helpful, that empowers them. That's
Yes,
the
but
other
it's
thing.
beautiful too. It is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, well, aesthetically, you know, we've moved our brand.
Aesthetically.
Taryn. Yeah, and Paul has that good aesthetic too, and he will have it all when he has the Realty Cast website, right, Allison? He can tell him get on the train, baby. So
Yeah.
the idea is, as you move into the whole being vetted thing properly, Taryn, when the
Mhm.
package comes, it speaks. It's
Mhm.
not just its aesthetic, it's its content combined. Those things matter. As I go into an open house tomorrow, I will have those physical packages just as if I would send them out to anybody, so that when through the door walks a prospective buyer or a prospective seller, they will get the very same package with the properties that have sold around there. So buyers see what the money's buying, sellers see what's happening. They'll have the magazine copy in there. Doesn't matter what context to me, because I think a lot of people come on a sales training call and they think, oh, he's just talking about telemarketing. No, I am not. Tomorrow morning, I will be live in an open house, and I will be prepared to do this very thing that we do this way too. So to me, there are fundamentals in this business. And that's why Taryn really needs to make sure she understands, you know, that seller course, and to watch the 17-minute video that's up in the Teachable site for all of you, to really watch it. And by the way, my Griffin Realty Group agents, it is up there too, in the Griffin Realty Group Teachable site as well. You really need to fundamentally understand the process of selling a house in an organized way, not your cherry picked, oh, I can do it way, more so that you can become the educator so people understand it. Look, I have agents that just go out there. They're great at, you know, getting their listings, but they never really take the time to give something to their client, so the client understands what's going to happen. And inevitably what happens, they end up getting yelled at by the client. You didn't do this, you didn't do this. Well, because we never explained it to them. So what I learned as a top producer is I could make my life a lot easier and avoid all that beating I would take, is if I would just simply educate them. Here are the 7 universal steps to doing this. I know you're smart, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a rocket scientist, but here's the process we take people through. Okay. So we have to have pricing right. We have to deal with the current condition and the staging. Then and only then can we memorialize the marketing, so that we get that right. People start coming through, co-brokes, direct buyers, and they give feedback, and you will know what adjustments we need to make. That's also that of ultimately when we get an offer, I go back to the math I used to price it. I make the case for you. We negotiate very tightly. And now we go to closing and hold everybody's hand. Boom. That's it. And I went through it really fast because it just is ingrained in my head, so that I can talk it. I can see it. I can take a piece of it. How far did you get? Well, we had people coming. Well, you're in stage 5 out of 7. That's pretty good. What happened when they came through the house? Well, this guy couldn't do that. Well, all right. Sounds reasonable. Looks like you're in the right price range at least. I don't know. I'll start there. Right. So I'm thinking of Ed, right? For example, Autumn, and like he's there, he got there, but we really don't know until we get a little bit further. So. All right. Well, what else? Who's next, Paul? Let me just take some calls here first. If I have
Annie,
other people.
Rebecca sent some calls to you.
Okay, cool. All right. Let me put these goggles back on. Autumn, keep an eye on that chat. I know you're active over there. If anybody asks a question over there, would you just let me know, please?
Yes.
Okay. So all my mastermind members realized what Autumn just said. She's closing for a phone appointment in these times too. So maybe that continues as time goes on. And we've just, thanks to COVID, we've stumbled upon something that can accelerate it, because, you know, she doesn't know what I know about my role as the market maker in the field. So she smartly passes it off via the phone, and I can add on top of what they've received, and I can begin to personalize that for those people. You know, that's the essence of what we're talking about here. All right, Rebecca, how are you, my friend?
Oh, doing all right. How are you, Danny?
Good. All right, so you're in the hot seat, sister. Here we go. Let's see what we have here.
Would you like context for the calls, sir?
Absolutely, please. Zaki first.
Yes. Well, they're both Zachy.
Okay.
This is a follow-up call. And in the first call, I actually set the appointment.
Okay.
It works. The second
Good.
call, I called him back to do the seller questionnaire, and that did not work out so well.
Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. All good. We made some progress in the first part of it, which is always good, right? Let me just open it up.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Hello, Becky. Hello. Hi.
Yes.
This is Rebecca. This is Rebecca with Realty. We spoke last week and we mailed you out a package that will help you sell your home the next time you decide to list it. Did you get that package we mailed to you?
Which address email it to? And you know what? The reason is I'm getting about 2 or 3 a week. That's the problem. Okay.
Oh.
Everybody's sending me packages.
Okay. Well, it was mailed to the 1255 Buckingham Way, Hillsborough, California 94010.
Well, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
probably have received it. Yeah.
All right. So he's detached from the package. He's overwhelmed. So this is where I want you to be more aggressive because you also are fully well trained. Go there. So well, wait a minute. I don't know what everybody else is sending you, but we sent you pictures and details of the properties around you that sold when you didn't, and we gave you a guide on what to do about that.
This is a probate.
Okay. All right. He's a probate.
Mhm.
Yep. That's
Okay.
right.
Well, then that's a difference. So that context I did not have. So let's listen to the rest of it. Let's see where it goes. So, but in the probate package, all right. Well, let me just listen to it, Gail. Let me listen to it.
Okay. All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to sell your house?
Oh no, it's going to be sold, but when I'm going to sell it, I really don't know. That's the whole
Oh,
thing.
you don't know.
And, no, not yet.
Yeah.
At the moment,
Okay.
well, even though I am interviewing agents right now, it's probably going to be a little while before I go on the market. It needs a lot of work before I go ahead and put it on the market.
Sure. Okay. That's fine. We'd like to be a part of that discussion. Can I set up a place for you and Gail to talk on the phone?
Okay, we can talk on the phone.
Sure. When is a good time for you to speak with Gail? Check time tomorrow or in the next couple days?
Yeah, what company are you with?
With Rosetti Realty in Menlo Park?
Which setting? What's the name of it?
Rosetti, like a flower. It's an Italian name.
Okay.
Rosetti.
Oh, okay. Rosetti. Okay. Yeah, you can call me tomorrow, probably by 11 o'clock or so in the morning.
11 o'clock in the morning? Perfect. Sounds good, Zach.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I'll have Gail give you
Okay.
a call then. Have a good evening.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. In this case, before I even go to the second call, I wouldn't have asked any more questions. You know what I mean? I wouldn't call this guy back. I mean, this is a phone appointment. This is not an in-home. He's like, you did a great job just getting her on the phone with this guy. How about that?
Yeah, and he's a high D. I'm actually going, I'm all dressed up for my listing appointment today.
Good.
Yeah.
So in other words, she fails in the second call to get some answers, but you called him and got in?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
There's
in.
all right. Well, there's my point. So I don't even have to listen to the second
No.
one for you, but I can listen to it for her. But I think it's more process here. I think she's done her job. You know what I mean? Just like Autumn you booked this phone appointment. There's nothing for Autumn to do once that phone appointment's booked. I'm not going over there. So, I mean, she got you the why he's selling it. or that there's actually some motivation. So he's interviewing agents. Radar goes off. Great.
There
I'd
I
love to
am.
great. I'd love to get Gail on the phone. She's very good at what she does. This is where I don't mind a little resume bragging. Well,
And
Gail
it's
is very,
4 million, maybe $4.5 million property in Hillsborough.
yeah. And so Gail is very good at this sort of thing, and I'm sure you'll enjoy talking to her. So let me get this set up. This is where I want you to come completely enthusiastic about getting, I think Autumn's very good at selling me at that moment, right? I think she's very good. I can just tell by the way it's set up. You know, people reference her when I get there. And I even now start to kid. Well, they said, geez, you're right on time. Well, Autumn would shoot me if I wasn't, right? You know, and so
Yeah.
and so we have fun with it now too. We make it that family kind of feeling, right? So now the next level here, Rebecca, is to be enthusiastic about Gail. Well, listen, I'd love to get Gail and go up another tone, like another level of enthusiasm. Drink some coffee, whatever, right? Just say, I'd love to have Gail on the phone with you. She's really good at this stuff. Rosetti Realty. Yell into the phone. Rosetti Realty, like the rose, the yellow. Be enthusiastic. You almost sound like there's a little bit of a gear down here. You're trying to be too respectful. Lean in, or this dog's going to bite you. He's high D, okay? And you're doing a good job. But don't be afraid. And I'm over exaggerating it so that somewhere between who I am and what I want you to level up to is the right one for you. But it's sounding too passive all of a sudden. And you know, my warning around here, we don't need to be apologetic, right?
Right.
And they're looking for leadership. Okay. So the fact that you're even making this call has him intrigued. He's busy. He's in a car. It's noisy. He's high D, but you're being effective. That's what matters to me. If you're working with us and I hear that effectiveness, that's all I can ask for. You got her that appointment, right? So
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah, bravo. You're done. So I mean, it's up to you.
I felt like I took a shot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like when I said, well, we'd like to be a part of that discussion. May I set up the phone call?
I don't think you had
I felt like taking a shot.
Well, I don't think you were taking a shot. I think you were doing the job. I would expect that. If you didn't, I would have tased you. Right?
Yep.
I mean, honestly, listen, Rebecca, when somebody says we're interviewing agents, you didn't take a shot.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that was the green light. I thought
the game is on. Well, where do you see the gladiator I'm about to throw in the ring? Where do you see her come with all her yellow dress on? Right? Are you kidding me? Like and I am not kidding. All of you, agents, everybody, if you don't learn how to close those closable moments, you will starve in any sales business, let alone this one. That is a closable, and he is not going to close himself for you, right? So it's like, and when I say close, just close what's available next. It's not this, well, gee, could I get her in the house? Hey, would it be possible if I can get her on the phone with you? I want her to compete for this. I think you're a good match for her. She's very good like you. Give him a little compliment too. Don't sound so transactional, like not as bad as what I heard in the last call. And I feel like I'm picking on Sam, and I'm not really. I'm trying to in a coaching mode. I'm trying to overemphasize the importance of this. I just think, you can't sound transactional. And if you start to sound too monotone and you can't level up, you can't rise. Oh, wow, you're interviewing other agents? I've got the gal for you. I'm telling you, Ravi, say his name. You're going to like Gail. Can I get her on the phone with you? Well, who is she? Rosetti Realty, Menlo Park. She's been doing it for a long time. She's very good at it. You got to have a couple of quips like that about who you're selling now at this point. Because that's you're selling.
I did that with Ann this morning.
Say that again.
I did that with Ann this morning. I sold her on you personally,
right.
With a couple of quips. But the only thing I want to say, Rebecca, is just always grab the lead. Be looking for it. And when that door opens, man, just jump. Don't even hesitate. Don't think. Just jump and grab it and get out there and sell it. Sell Gail.
Well, here's why. It's so dang hard to get somebody on the phone. It's so dang hard to make the right offer. It's so dang hard to get them to accept that one. It's so dang hard to get them to keep talking that you can't lose these opportunities, right? I mean, we have to evolve here. And again, that's why I'm hard on my lovables, as I would call you and Sam and Autumn and everybody that throws something my way here, and all the team up in Ottawa. You always come and you throw yourself into the arena. But now I expect more of you, and you should expect more of yourself. This is
Yeah.
what's happening. You're leveling up, but underneath you is the yellow brick system. Beat, beat, beat. Hear the beats. Am I hitting the beat? But there'll always be subtlety. You'll have a bad day. You level down, but you have to get yourself, like I say, when I do these calls for training, I come down into this little dungeon basement of mine, okay? And I get myself square at this table, and I get myself a little beat, and I think, all right, let's go. Energy, because this is sales, this is closing, this is
Energy.
we finally, after a whole week of beating on strategy and all these things that are painful, management, strategy, technical help, we arrive at what everybody loves to do in this business: get a deal and get it closed. This is the pinnacle moment everything else builds up to. So whether it's a close at telemarketing, it's a close post package, it's a close to get them in the field, it's a close to write an offer, it's a close to get that accepted. They're all little mini closes along the way. And so when you're in the heat of the technical work of doing that, you've got to recognize it. You've got to recognize it. You have to train your ear to say, that the buying signal, and we're not to lay off. Let me give you an anecdote about showing a multi-million-dollar property this morning, okay? It was a direct buyer. Everybody gets all excited, oh, direct buyer, right? Okay, not always the greatest thing, but in comes this couple. She's got a big smile. Hi, how are you? Hey, thanks. Wonderful. Let me get my mask on. I want to be respectful. I left it in the car. Give me 1 minute. So I go out, come back in. And then, I can tell that they don't want to touch anything. So I said, let me get the doors for you. Let me open up everything. I'm listening to it. And I can tell he right off the bat, how long has it been on the market? Is there room for a fifth bedroom? I go, here we go. Mr. Checklist, right? Now here she is, enthusiastic. And I just laid back. I geared down. You're not going to lean into somebody like that yet. So you wait till he does his spinorama, and then he settles and then he settles down and he starts staring at one room he can't wrap his head around. I said, well, look, you could move this over here. Yeah, but you still only have a 10-foot. It is what it is, right? And she's sitting there ready to, she's looking at me behind his back while they're walking around going like this, right? Because she's like, this is everything I want, blah, blah, blah. But there's only so much you can do. So you do the best you can, but sometimes there's no close there. So you gear down and you're okay with it. You're not attached white knuckled to every outcome. But when you know there is, let me give another example, same house. I'm with a co-broke the other day. They have a real urgent need to move. He's a very happy-go-lucky Indian guy that manufactures solar panels across the ocean in India. I've already known that, I've found this out about this guy right during this, because at the right moments, I'm able to look for relationship, and boom, we connect. So much so that right in front of the agent who he just met from Sotheby's, he goes, I like you. What's the deal here? I said, I'm going to tell you right now what the deal is. Here's what I have on the table. Here's what I can do. Oh, he's got to do better. He can't. He won't. Here we are. All right, I like you. I'm coming back to this one. I like this one, right? So you look for what is possible, and you go for what's possible. You gear down when it's not possible, right? But on the phone, you all need to train your ear like Autumn's, that when there's a close, you know it, and you close for what you can. If Autumn can get me in the house, she's going to get me in. If she can't, or she feels intuitively, a phone call would be there. You know what she did by only offering the phone call in that case? And it was pretty subtle. I don't know if you picked up on it like I did. She got 15 minutes of relationship building because she asked for the right close. She didn't try to go too far. She could probably sense, I don't know, Autumn, you can fill in the blanks here, but I know you intuitively. So that you're an intuitive thinker. So she knows what she can close for. And it wasn't necessarily to get me in. And she knows I'm good on the phone like her, because we just got a listing that I closed on 2 phone calls, came close to doing another one. He is going to wait till he gets here, but this is working for us. So she's like, well, if it worked on those, oh, by the way, Robichaud, forgot about that one. That's almost that's a huge semi-close because she knew how to give it to me. Oh my gosh, I'm losing track of them. There's so many of them in my head. That's why we have Infusionsoft.
I felt like that too this morning after Ann. I felt like, good Lord, the business is starting to get a little overwhelming here. The reason I didn't close her for an in-house is because my suspicion is, if I remember correctly, she took her house off the market for a temp cancel.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, she took it off after a few days when COVID hit. So I didn't want to hit her with, hey, let's come into your house.
Yeah. Right.
So
Perfect.
that's,
Yeah, perfect. And if you go back to Stan was only in the market for a very short period of time with the people that he was dealing with.
right.
And,
He was
and
the
you
temp
still got
cancel.
me, you still got me in there because he almost sensed that he had made a mistake because he gave it to a part-timer. And when he heard what was possible from us, I think he got nervous, right?
Right. Yep.
So, all right, cool. All right, questions. We've got about 10 minutes left here. I'll take any kind of scenario. I would love some of you outside sales agents to give me a deal, like Lena Chu when we were talking today. I'll give you that, but if somebody has one, I'll take it first. Do anybody have a scenario they want to give me, or do you want me to go into what I just talked to Lena about? Your call. It's an outside sales deal. Okay, hearing nobody jumping. I must have had a lot of coffee today, Gail. I don't know what it is. I am just fired up. You know what it is? I'm high on the business at the moment. There are
Me
people
too.
everywhere, right?
Yep.
Like you hear Autumn and I were like junkies. She starts yelling at me. And like I was in the middle of trying to help Laura write something up. Are you getting these texts? Are you getting Did you tell her to breathe? I'm here. I see them. But we're now
well, I'm feeling like I'm only one person, and now I'm starting to bat them away like flies. You know, they're just coming at me because everyone wants to get back in the saddle after COVID as the states start opening.
Well, you know, but precisely why, let me just be transparent about management for a second of sales when there's a lot of stuff going on, okay? Because number one, you have to bubble up the best stuff and stay focused on that. It's always a priority list. Your best prospects get the most attention. So what we're teaching Autumn now about our system that we followed for years is that the whole premise of starting a telemarketing effort is to build a book of prospects, okay? So you build an assembly line that works from bringing the contact out of a lead stage to a prospect stage so that you have this relationship batch of prospects that you're sifting and sorting based on their timing. So the people that are going to turn into clients in the month of May become her prospect priorities, right? And next month it gets resorted. Who's going to become a client that month? So each month you're looking at that prospect list as a telemarketer first. Who's next? Okay. And you work those people. Then you move backwards to the less hot prospects to make sure you haven't allowed an imposter into that list. An imposter is somebody who doesn't really have a seriousness of purpose, right? And that can happen sometimes they slip through the netting, or it can happen that their timing changed and they're not interested anymore. We need to get them out of there. You need to cull this, you prune this tree of prospects regularly, or you will drown in it. And that's why I made such a big deal about Paul's work, Taryn, is because this is what will happen. It will work. You will all find prospects. And this goes to you agents too. If you follow these best practices, you're going to get a list of prospects, and you're not going to know how to service them if you're not paying attention to them. Okay. So, and that's why a lot of people start and stop. They get a couple good prospects, turn them to clients, go out with two of them. One happens, one blows up, and they look behind them and they got nothing set up. Shame, 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 shame. If you're under my watch and that happens, you're always trying to find who's a new batch of leads that are potentially people that will definitely do something in the next 12 months. What offer am I making to them to prospect them? And then when they become part of my prospect club, how am I serving them for free to keep them in there and continue to empower them so that they turn over when they're ready naturally without a big cattle call of competition? That's it. It's the essence of the business, right? So now let me go to, I'll probably speak more to my mastermind members in this one. When it comes to a business decision, Lena has moved into a new area and she's very good. Like all of you mastermind members are very good and you're very valuable. And I don't think you should ever be discounters. However, there are those occasions where you make an adjustment to your commission because of a circumstance. So she started to ask me about this where somebody, and I didn't know the context at first, she said, well, you know, most people here are giving back half the commission. Well, half the commission I'd be working for free because the other half goes to the buyer agent, she said. Well, how about half your commission? And so before she rejected it, I said, okay, tell me the context. Is he just somebody off the street? No, he's a past client. I said, oh, that's a big difference. Okay. So that's a big difference. He's a past client. And what's the circumstance? Well, we just sold it to him not too long ago and he wants to get rid of it. Okay. So you got to find out why, because he's going to take a hit, right? That changes the whole game. Now your brain changes as a business person. What kind of goodwill do I owe this guy because he did business with me before? What can I do for him to serve him? And I can still keep it profitable. It's going to hurt my business model from an average commission standpoint. Sure, I told her. But if you go in there and you look at it and you say, what is now the quid pro quo, the something for something? Quid pro quo, if you don't know what it means, something for something in Latin, right? So now it was all over the news for months. Okay. So now you say, all right, I'm going to have to give this up. But what if I can get a white hot price and I can move this product in a week? That's worth it, isn't it? Because I don't have the time and the conversion and it's cash flow. Zero, my friends, is zero. Half is half. So you have to make these business decisions, all the while understanding that if you can get it under circumstances that are now different on your side, if they're expecting full service, full time, they're going to tweak and test the ends of the high price range. No, because that's where nature really does hate you for doing that, because you just filled your vacuum or your empty space with business that now becomes compromised from a margin standpoint. Typically, those people expect too much for the exchange of value. You have a problem. But in this case, if she can get something in return for it, which is speed and compression of time, she can stay profitable, accept the cash flow, and move on and service a past client. So I just wanted to share that little anecdote because I think it's real. Well, I don't think it's real. I know it's real in her case as we sit here today. And I think those are things that become, considered. But if somebody's looking for full service, look, we know the way of the discount brokerage. It doesn't work. You get what you paid for. This is a very expensive business to go and list a property or spend your time looking for property for buyers. And what most people don't understand is that commission then gets whacked up with all the expenses that you have. You don't make it. So that's why I say be careful of people that don't understand that. And if you go start dealing with people that have a total lack of understanding of how business works, they will not appreciate your value, right? But in his case, he's a higher end buyer and he made a mistake and he needs to get out of it. It's a case where I think a compromise in exchange of something else, quid pro quo, can work. All right. Any questions about that from my mastermind members, especially Allison Egan? Don't you dare send me recordings after this call.
She's sending you a good one. I think we should listen to it.
Here we go. It's on. I was going to tell her, I'm going to yell at her if she sends it after the call. Here we go. Here we go. Ready? Here we go.
Right.
Let's see. I clicked it inside the chat. Oh, here it is. It's going to play in my iTunes. Bear with.
In your iTunes, yeah. That's typical.
Hello.
Hi, Richard. It's Allison calling you back. How are you doing?
I know this guy, by the way.
Good. We had sent you that package. I was wondering, did you get it?
I saw totally blank. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
All right, hold on. I'll make a point right away.
No, I know.
Don't tell me you know him.
Yeah.
I hope it's your cousin.
No, it's not like that. The guy just knows it's more acquaintance.
I understand.
No big deal.
Every time we start again,
Okay.
right? Don't
Got it.
presume, because like stuff happens in between now and the next time. It happens and they forget. And so
Yes.
good little reset. John, it's Allison Egan from Egan Realty Group.
Egan Realty Group is what
Yeah.
I did not say. And I realized the mistake as soon as it happened.
Yeah, here we go. Keep
All
going.
right.
That's fine.
I was trying to think
Oh,
what
no.
doctor's office you were calling from. I think it's.
Oh. I hear you.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Awesome. I'm glad you got it. And Chris Egan and I were discussing, and we were still wondering why that condo didn't sell. So I could have him maybe book a time to give you some more insight over the phone or meet up with you.
Too apologetic, right? I'm looking for the leadership here, and you're asking a lot of permission for something that he needs. You know what I mean? I'd be more demonstrative here. I think Autumn pulls it off with her tone and her leadership combination, right?
Mhm.
So it sounds like maybe kind of, I call that the apologetics, right? Let's stop doing it. Let's stop doing it. Just say, hey, I was talking to Chris about it. We were scratching our heads. It looks like a beautiful house. And I was thinking that, he could probably lend some insight on top of what I sent you. Right. But
Right.
now I'm lost.
I kind of
though.
felt like I was already saying that, but I didn't know I was saying it apologetically.
Well,
I'll listen again.
Oh, no, you'll listen right now, sister.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah.
Do
you
it.
listen right now. No.
He does say yes, by the way, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
No. Come on now. You heard Sam get a yes, and I hammered the call because
That's
there's
right.
bigger reasons. There's a bigger game here. Listen, ready?
Exactly.
Listen.
So I totally blank. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I do.
That's fine.
I was trying to think
Oh,
what
no.
doctor's office you were calling in from. I think
Oh. I hear you.
Yeah, no, I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Awesome. I'm glad you got it. And Chrissy and I were discussing, and we were still wondering why that condo didn't sell. So I could have him maybe book a time to give you some more insight over the phone, or meet up with you, whatever's convenient.
Can I do a non-committal walkthrough with him?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he would love the nickel tour. He really would.
I'd like to do that. Let him tell me what he thinks, and if he can, without any obligation on my part.
All right. Yeah, that's no
Can
trouble.
you do that?
All right. Yeah.
Where are you going? There's a big like this is what I was saying, the same thing to Rebecca. This is where it's like enthusiasm. Absolutely. No problem. Danny loves to do it. He loves to know what's out there on the market.
Like
of course,
keep
there's no commitment. In fact, he'll go over that stuff that I sent you. He'll go over it with you and tell you how it relates to your situation. And absolutely, he'll come over and do it non-committal. That's what he does. Like, where are you? Where'd you
more
go?
enthusiasm amongst
But also you fall off here. There's like a pregnant pause here.
Yeah.
This
I was
crescendo
looking at the
moment.
schedule.
Whoa.
I get it.
You know what I mean? Whoa. Like, make the connection. See what I'm saying? Everybody's so worried about being transactional that everybody's missing the relational build here. Right? Like, you still sound kind of nervous to me.
No,
I mean,
I didn't feel
okay,
nervous.
Yeah,
But
well,
I get it.
Well,
I get it.
it's just weird. You pull a hatch, and I'm like, wait a minute, where'd you go? Where'd she go? Right? So here we go. Keep going.
And can we, when you want to do it tomorrow afternoon? Is she available tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm trying to see what time here. What's your what time are you available tomorrow afternoon?
I'm not available till probably 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock? Okay.
Anytime after 2, yeah.
Anytime after 2. All right.
Now it's just scheduling.
Tomorrow is Friday.
Yes, yeah. And all for
All right. First of all, don't make any more phone calls without your calendars open.
Yeah. It
should have never
totally
happened.
had a malfunction. I'm so pissed.
Yeah. This
I
is
was
totally.
pissed.
Well, this
I
is what I
know.
mean about getting athletic. Here's a good example you give.
Exactly.
To deal with it, right? Look, I don't care if you got to get 3 screens like a Wall Street trader.
Yeah, right.
You got to
Be
be
ready.
prepared.
Be ready.
I had to go grab. I was grabbing Chris's computer. This thing was totally malfunction. I totally had to grab his computer. I felt like crazy. I left it open for the rest of my calls, like you said. From
All right.
now
Well, from now on,
can't have that.
Well, this is a good call here today, because I want to emphasize one thing before we wrap with your call. This is big business.
Yeah.
There's big money on the table here every time that you all do this. And if you don't come prepared as a telemarketer, shame on you, right? I'm breaking out that taser. I'm gonna hit anybody like that. And I'd hit myself if I went into a house and I was supposed to give a presentation, stick to the formula, I'd stick it in my own neck in my car if I screwed up. You got to keep yourself disciplined and ready. This isn't a hobby. This isn't casual hour. This is go time. This is a person's life. This is their home. This is their big bucks money. You got to treat it like that every time. There is no such thing as transactional, casual. Those words need to get killed. And it's exemplified by this kind of behavior. It's go time. Right? I'm already prepared for my open house. The stuff is in my car. It's not till tomorrow. I'm going over there after this. I'm going to open the door. I'm going to set it up. I'm going to get myself athletic so that when I come there tomorrow, I drop the signs in advance and be there early, and I'm ready. I do a walk through the house. Like I'm a weirdo like that. I mean, this is how people play any game in business or otherwise at a high level. Be ready. Don't think that top producers at anything aren't always trying to be ready. And some days they're not. And watch MMA fighting. They get knocked out cold because they
be ready with enthusiasm.
You
It's
better
really
believe it.
important to have that energy behind it.
You better
really
believe
a
it.
lot of energy.
It's actually in the Law of Success book. Let me see if I have it in my office.
Yeah, I think it's in there too.
Yeah. It's one of his laws of success. Enthusiasm. And you can hear I'm offering that advice today to everybody. Enthusiasm for the process, enthusiasm for the moment, enthusiasm for the offer. Don't you think that that's not a trigger? You think people are making some sort of a, like, they're making an emotional decision about you. Okay.
Oh, and then let me add that at the end of this call, I booked it, and then I didn't go over the seller questionnaire at all. I didn't set up.
Because Allison, is simple. You're not ready.
Yeah.
You're not ready.
I need to call him back. Autumn and I were chatting about that.
Yeah, I didn't either this morning. I have to call her back and do the same thing. But I mean, literally, when she called me, you guys, I was literally indisposed in the bathroom, but I answered that.
But here's what we do. But hold on, both of you. Here's what we do. The same thing that I've done over the years, and why you could hear Sam going sideways. We are not woke enough about the business.
Right.
We're not. We're not woke enough about the business. We have worked tirelessly to develop simple formulas and systems that keep you in the game. But if you're letting all the rest of your life affect you, then that's why we do these trainings to say, look, I don't care how good Autumn is at telemarketing. The minute she cheats the system, something breaks down. My phone call is not as effective. The next step is not as effective. So we're cleaning up on aisle 5 all the time. Just training can prevent that because it becomes routine. That's why top performers, you say, oh, he's an overnight success. Really? He's been doing it for 21 years, going over and over and over, trying to stay disciplined. That's the deal. So as you learn, you can catch up to top producers quickly if you take this stuff and you just say, all right, I really screwed up. I wasn't ready. And that's on me. I wasn't ready. I was underprepared for this, even though, and that's why I stopped you. Don't tell me you got a yes. I don't care. I care about the quality of the yes, right? That's what I care about. Because now you send him out and he's got to do more work than he would have. Look at, again, I will, and level Autumn's humility here today. She just admitted to you, she made the same mistake. And there's a reason we follow a formula, because it makes that moment for me way easier and way more effective. And I want that respect to be set up that way. I don't want to be sitting here scrambling. When I go to make a phone call appointment, I don't need to be going back to Autumn and asking her what the situation is. I should be why are they moving, right? Why did they expire? If whatever kind of, like, if she can get me there, I need to know why they're moving, so that I know whether I have what am I dealing with here, right? So that's why these qualifying questions really, really matter to me at the next level.
You got to hit those right when you get the yes. Let me, so as Chris can be prepared for this appointment, I just needed to ask you a few questions. I mean, that's what I can lead this into.
So that Chris can bring you, Chris can bring you the most value in this meeting. Let me ask you a few questions.
And I can still call him back and do that? Or what? Chris has got the appointment at 3. It's 1 hour.
Let me tell you this. I don't love you backtracking.
No, I know.
I don't like that.
Asking
I think that's why Rebecca got in trouble.
Yeah,
she's backtracking. The moment, if it was there, and I don't know that Rebecca had the moment with that high D in the middle of his car. I think she was just best to cut it off, end it, and say, Gail, the best I could do with this guy, he's high D. Here it is. Like, you go do it. And she did. She's going out today, right? She did. So
yeah, but are you talking about Allison going back in? And because I'll go back in with Ann, but I've got, 5 days to go back in with her.
Right. We got 1 hour, less than an hour now.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to be home till 2.
Autumn, for us, Autumn, I think it's probably the right thing to do because we have a lot going on, and
Right.
creating that better prospect is good practice for you to get your brain trained in that mode. For Allison, leave
I
it
get
alone.
it.
Let him
I
do
get
his
it.
thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So
And
should he bring them? Should he bring them and kind of use it as his checklist on the nickel tour kind of thing?
I think if
Eh,
he
what do
just
you
really
think?
gets, when he's doing this walkthrough, it would be the same as one of my phone appointments. Tell me a little bit about the situation. Why are you trying to sell it? Looks like a good spot.
Yeah, yeah.
What's going on here? I'm almost
Or I
like
see you've moved out, so
yeah.
you know,
Well,
because it's vacant. It's been vacant, so
no,
we know
don't,
this.
don't even say that. They're like,
Yeah.
duh, you moved out. No,
No, Chris would
what's
never
going,
do
so what's going on here? Why are you trying to sell this?
that. Mm-hmm.
Like,
Okay.
why can't we just get all human in that moment? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Let's just get
And-
human.
Oh, Chris
I
will
think be human,
He's
but
fine.
don't be casual.
No.
Don't be casual.
Don't be
Because this is a
casual.
business and it needs to have that structure so people can trust you. They trust you because you're disciplined, you're to the point,
Show your
and you're not,
professionalism.
you know, and you're just like with this Zachy, I was just right to the point. What are we gonna do? Okay, I'll be there at 2:00. Got your email.
And Gail, let me go back to what a lot of people are asking me about, and why we have people in the mastermind that haven't been around me for a long time. And they're like, what? I'm getting killed at listing presentations. I know why you're getting killed, because you're not setting yourself up correctly. You're walking into cattle calls, and then it can become about commission. It can become about those too much information. Your setup sucks, right? And so when your setup sucks, you have a very difficult time, getting them to understand why you're valuable, and more so than the competition. So that whole package going out changes the relationship. They see the value in that, right? And then the next thing, did you get it? Wonderful. Hey, I was talking to Danny. It looks like a beautiful house. Why are you trying to sell it in the first place? That's a professional question, right?
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
sure you want to go through this? If you do, then let me either have him on the phone or let him come over, and he'll add insights to the information we sent you. He'll give you his insight as to what he thinks you should do. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Chris will come over, no obligation. And what he'll do is he'll come over and he'll give you his insights about your property and give you a better plan for yours. He'll take what I sent you and he'll customize it. Come on, let's get attached to this. How many times do we have to keep saying it before we get attached to it? This
lot.
is super, that was rhetorical from a coach who's been doing it. For
I know.
I have plenty of patience, but today I'm being animated because you have a tipping point moment along with all, where you can learn. You've got to stay attached to every beat. Don't get overly enthusiastic, because
I'm
now
gonna
you're giving.
admit, I was kind of dumbfounded. I was like, not dumbfounded, but I was like, oh my God, he's saying yes. I had one of those moments.
Yeah, rookie moment.
Because we're just now starting to get yeses. I hate to admit that, but that's life.
It's a rookie moment.
So it's a rookie moment for me. I haven't done it in a long time. So whatever, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying I had the freeze moment instead of the aggressive moment.
Oh, I get what happened. I get what happened to you. But here's where there's going to be no excuse, Allison.
Yeah. No.
You better be set up better than that.
Well, I will be now.
Yeah. You weren't athletically ready for this.
Right.
And it's pretty simple to do so. A calendar's open. You should all be planning for victory. You're almost like surprised when success comes, right? You should be.
True.
Look at this is visualization. Visualize all you telemarketers, anybody doing phone work at all. Visualize the positive outcome and that you're ready. I'm going to call this guy, and I'm going to say this. He's going to say this. I'm going to offer this. He's going to say yes. He's going to get excited. He's going to get so excited for my enthusiasm. He's going to want a phone call, or he's going to want an in-home. So here's my seller qualifying question. Wonderful. I'd love to have Chris on the phone with you. Just a couple of quick questions so he makes the best use of your time. Here, why am I going to sell it in the first place? Boom. Good. Next, on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated would you say? I don't know. I'm an 11. Boom. All right. When did you buy it? How much did you pay? Right? And you just keep going. These are professional questions. Wow, that's none of your business. No, it is my business, because you're asking us to give you.
And you don't need to do word whispers in between.
Yeah, right.
I just go right and I'm direct, and they love it.
Yeah,
they
because
absolutely love it.
Because it's professional, like you said.
Yeah.
All right, listen, that's enough of this for this week, because we're over time. Thank you all for hanging in there. Thank you to all my guinea pigs who throw themselves headlong into the fire pit with me. All the rest of you,
how it went.
all the rest of you are wimpy, and you need to send me your calls and give me your scenarios. All right.
Thank you, Danny.
All right, everybody.
Thanks,
Have
everybody.
a good weekend. Go practice this.
All right. Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
Autumn. Bye.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Thanks, Danny.
You're welcome, Allison.